News.
Today on the live stream, President Trump claims that Joe Biden is afraid to even say law and order.
These are their stories.
My dad used to have an expression. He said the greatest sin any person can commit is the abuse of power.
Afraid to say it. He was literally on it. Don't be afraid. You're watching the live stream. Chung chung. Live from the socially distant studios, it is the live stream. Welcome. I am your host, Kevin Lee Father, Kevin Williams, and I am going to be talking with you today about a Trump interview on Fox and Friends, and about a Trump rally on a tarmac in Minnesota, and about a Trump arrival speech on a tarmac in Minnesota, minutes apart from each other, and we've got some helicopter moments to... Welcome, everyone. Let me pull up the YouTube page here. It looks like chat's coming through. Looks like David was once again the fourth person to be first, so congratulations to David Mickelson. If you'd like to join us anytime, please step on in. If you'd like to be in the chat room, you certainly may. If you don't want to come in the chat room, that's fine too. We got plenty of people that watch but say nothing. You are always welcome. Here we yell truth to power. Hopefully not in power much longer. Am I going to cover the DNC convention tonight? I haven't decided yet. You know what? Conventions are just boring. And a lot of these are going to be pre-taped now. You'll see, I've been running around today, but I heard a little bit of Trump's meandering in my meanderings, and he was making fun of the Democrats for pre-taping a lot of the speeches. For example, Michelle Obama's tape is going to be pre-taped tonight. And of course you want to do that during a major presentation when you don't want technical glitches like satellite buffering to get in the way. I mean, if you've been watching this show, you realize that every once in a while we just get death spirals. And I just repeat the same thing over and over again, or I slow down. That's what you have it. So, yes, you have it recorded, and you have multiple copies ready to go simultaneously, and if one of them fails, you switch right to the other. I mean, that's how television works, and that is what the Republicans will be doing as well. Trump might do it live, but it'll be... Meanwhile, he's reading it off a piece of paper. He's like, the Democrats, everything is prepared, and I'm going to talk to the GOP and tell them that we should do this too. So let's get going on this. What do you guys want to do first? Let's do the most recent thing first. So Trump just got done with a rally in Minnesota. It was on a tarmac. There were tens of people there. Let's pull up the C-SPAN. And they're getting ready for the Democratic National Convention. And there it is, Mankato, Minnesota. So Trump... Oh, for the love of God. Man, let me just... So now C-SPAN has started airing ads before their programming. You can skip them after 5 seconds. Unfortunately, C-SPAN is normally very low volume, as you guys know from watching this show. The commercials are not. So they're pulling in commercials from somewhere, and God bless them. They're a quasi-government agency, and I guess government's all about making profit now, like the USPS has to turn a profit. Anyway, so I apologize if that blasted your ears off. Let me mute it and then see if I can click. Sometimes you can click out of the ads and sometimes you can't. 2, 1. There we go. I just tweeted something about shaving your head or having a nicely shaved head. And I was repeating something that Trump said. You'll see what we're talking about in a little while here. So I think if I'm understanding this correctly from kind of paying attention during the day, he lands, he gets off the plane, he speaks for 20 minutes, then he gets back on the plane for a little while, then he comes back out. And did he do it? Did he just jerk off into his face? There he is, up there. And there's the jerk off into the face. Yeah, oh, okay. Moving on. Let's see, is he going to make it down? I can't tell if he's holding a bag of dog poop? Or nope, that's probably a hat. That's a keep America something hat. So he comes down. Yeah, we're gonna turn down the volume because we don't want to get a copyright strike. By the way, the other day we were watching the YouTube, all that Taylor Swift stuff that we watched together. No copyright strikes on any of that, but I was playing it like second by second. But the very little Lonely Island stuff, she wanted me to fuck her like like the U.S. government fucked Bin Laden. All the Lonely Island stuff, copyright strikes like immediately. So good job, Lonely Island. Let's adjust the camera. There we go. Everybody wants to see the top of my hair. I'm all about being pretty. So, how are you guys? Dr. Howard Bave is here. Green Room Bar, good to see you. Lizzie, I saw David in here. He was, again, the 5th one to be first, the 7th one to be first, whatever it was. And let's get going with swearing on streaming. How about we give it some volume? There we go. Okay, we can't. They're still doing the song. So, you guys watch him silently. I could be president. Claps for himself. Claps for himself. I've never seen him actually clap and then gesticulate to whom he's clapping. He's just clap. Oh, okay. So maybe I'll count that. Maybe that was a separate thought. No, he's just continuing to clap, waiting for the song to end. Not on track with the song, by the way. Well, let's listen just for a second here and try not to get a copyright strike. Oh, it's done. Oh well.
Well, thank you very much,
Well, at least I know I'm free.
You know, we're supposed to have these tiny little crowds. You can't have any more than that. It's very heavily restricted. That's a lot of people showed up. I want to thank you. We'd love to have those rallies, but I guess you just can't do that, and you're not allowed to do that.
Touches the mic needlessly. No reason to touch the mic there. Does it anyway.
A lot of people come back, but unfortunately, we had to hold off a lot of people in the back, which I feel badly about.
We had to held off a lot of people in the back? Is that what he said right away?
But we do the little airport hops, and people like them, and a lot of people come back. But unfortunately, we had to hold off a lot of people in the back, which I feel badly about. In 78 days, we're going to be...
In what?
78 days, we're going to win this, but unfortunately, we had
78 degrees?
to hold off a lot of people in the back, which I feel bad.
Let me see if I can pump him up any at all. I can give him a little more volume. If you guys want to hear a lot of volume, let's just watch C-SPAN commercials.
Badly about. In 78 days, we're going to...
In 78 Ds, I'm not going to be able to handle all of this. Hold on, let me pull this up. And start taking this. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Nobody cares. In 78 Ds. 78 Ds. What did he start off with, guys? What did he say right off the beginning? Do we have to go back? This is on CSAN, so that's 319. 319. 78 degrees out there on KISW, Los Angeles' #1 pop hits. 78 Ds. Who's nuts? D's nuts. 78 of them. Oh, shut up. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, it's only letting me do volume now. Let's jump ahead, jump ahead, jump ahead. There he is.
Well, thank you very much, Minnesota. They were supposed to only have like 100 people. You know, we're supposed to
held
have
them
these
off.
tiny little crowds. You can't have any more than that. It's very heavily restricted. That's a lot of people showed up. I want to thank you. We'd love to have those rallies, but I guess you just can't do that, and you're not allowed to do that now, so we don't do that. But we do the little airport hops, and people like them, and a lot of people come back. But unfortunately, we had...
I saw in the chat someone says something about the wildfires. Yeah, we're fine. They're over the hills. We see the smoke. It's pretty incredible, but no, we're okay.
I held off a lot of people in the back, which I feel badly about.
I feel badly about it, too.
78 days, we're going to be... 78 days, we're going to win this state. We're going to
Yeah, he corrected himself.
take back the White House. And we're going to have an election that's all about the survival of our nation. This is a very important, in my opinion. I used to say 2016. And we're going to have an election that's all about the survival of our nation. This is a...
Survivaler nation? The survivaler nation. I'm in. I'm into the survivaler nation. He's losing it, folks. There is something wrong with him. That I'm not into the whole conspiracy theory thing, but honestly, the right side, the drinking, the stumbling down the ramp very slowly, and we know this made for a great song. The constant language. We are now. This is the first gaffe was at 3:15. We're now at 33 seconds. So in the span of 18 seconds, 3 verbal flubs. And just come on.
Very important, in my opinion. I used to say 2016, and I must tell you, I think this is going to be the most important election in the history of our country. This is a very, very big deal going on. Joe Biden is the puppet of left-wing extremists trying to erase our borders, eliminate our police, indoctrinate our children, vilify our heroes, take away our energy. You know all about that. Take away our energy, if you can believe it. No fossil fuel. Destroy our Second Amendment, attack the right to life, and replace American freedom with left-wing fascism.
With what? Fascism?
Destroy our Second Amendment, attack the right to life.
We're not a minute in, folks. Hold on. Left-wing fascism. Oh, boy. Sorry, guys. This could take a while. Let me mark down left-wing fascism at 4:08. And we're back.
And replace American freedom with left-wing fascism. Left-wing. We're going left-wing all the way. Fascist.
Left-wing.
They are fascists.
Oh,
some of them. Not all
that's
of
what
them,
he's saying.
Some of them, but they're getting closer and closer. We have to win this election. But the proud people of Minnesota will not.
How's the volume, guys? Is he okay? Am I too loud? Let me. If I'm too loud, I'll pump myself down. You pump it up. Let me see if there's a. I might have sort of inadvertently stumbled across a tweak here. Nope, not that. Give me a second. Again, my producer hasn't shown up in a long time, as in ever. Not my executive producers. Wait. I'll say my sound engineer, because my producers are always there. Aren't you, producer Joanna and producer Rich? Is he in here? And producer, who else? Oh, you know who's a new producer is Dee. So if she's in here, good to see you. If she's not, I can't see you. Noel, good to see you. Danielle, moderator Danielle, very important. Moderator Danielle, we're going to need you on October 3rd. Dr. Howard as well, because we're going to be doing the money for booksandbricks.org. We're going to be raising that. It will be a completely non-political affair where we will be raising money like you guys did last week. Thanks to everyone who did that. So that's coming in October 3rd. And I'd like to have a chat window with that, but that's risky because people unfamiliar with the internet will be watching. So I'm trying to figure out if there's a way on YouTube or some other way that we can censor the comments coming in. So every comment gets approved before it shows up in the chat room. It'll be busy. And if you guys don't have the time on October 3rd, that's fine. I don't even know if it's possible. I'm just looking for a way that the chat window can be part of the broadcast. Not necessarily you guys, but the people watching out there. This will be a whole different audience. Although you guys, really, you're all Kevinly angels. Let's get back to Trump here. We've almost made it a minute, kids.
Let this happen. You will deliver a historic victory for our values, our citizens, and our treasured way of life. We'll save our cities and our suburbs from the future of crime and chaos, corruption, and economic collapse that puppet Joe Biden would unleash on America.
That's the new one.
Puppet. He won't do it intentionally. He just says, well, whatever they want, because he has no clue. He has no clue. I ended low-income housing being built in the suburbs and destroying people's American dream. You know that. If Biden and Harris...
That's not a dog whistle for racists. That's a... Here, KKK. Come here, boy. Come here, KKK. Oh, who's a bad boy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are, KKK. Oh, who's a bad...
Get into power.
No low income in suburban neighborhoods. How is this being allowed? We need another executive branch that's just in charge of this one.
They've pledged to raise your taxes by $4 trillion, which, put in very simple terms, mean many of you will have to pay double and triple the tax.
Well, what is this with Biden in the basement? Biden hasn't been in the basement. He's literally on his first floor, and he's been going. I've seen him at rallies. I've seen him at protests. I've seen him praying in church. Biden in the basement. But I don't know why Republicans are so afraid of basements. I guess as I grew older, I got rid of my fear of the dark, of irrational fears. I don't think Republicans ever get beyond that. It's all that, oh, the basement bunker where they did the impeachment. Oh, it was a basement. Oh, Hillary Clinton's server was in the basement. Oh, Joe's afraid to come out of the basement. Oh! Nothing wrong with basements.
Taxes that you're paying right now. This includes a tax.
Biden never fought busing. Biden was against busing in schools. The interchange between the different schools, taking kids out of their area. A lot of people were. And he certainly changed his tune on that now. And I mean, the person that accused him of that, which he did, Kamala Harris, is now his vice president. So I'm pretty sure she's okay with it.
Of over $3,000 on a typical family of four. Biden-Harris also pledged to eliminate fracking, natural gas, oil, and coal production, forcing us to beg for energy from foreign suppliers. On my watch, America will proudly remain energy independent. First time.
Berlin bunker, whatever you say, still way better than Trump. So much better. Trump won't even let his high schools show their records. Literally had Michael Cohen send threatening letters.
Energy independent. We've made a lot of progress on energy. I want to thank your terrific.
Hey, that's good news. The UK closed its last coal mine today, which many people, a lot of people were saying that would never happen, and it did. So I'm going with what you're saying, Green Room. So if Green Room is correct, and I have no reason to doubt him because he makes Irish nachos, then congratulations, UK.
Terrific representatives in Congress, Tom Emmer.
I don't think that's his name.
Tom.
Emmer.
There he is. What a man. These are warriors. Jim Hagedorn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your next senator from Minnesota is over. Right? Spock, where's Michelle? Working with you. And a man whose name good. Thank you, Lacey. No law enforcement, no anything. They don't know what they're doing. Warriors, all of them. All of them. We have to get them in. Because we have to stop this craziness that's going on. No law enforcement, no anything. They don't know what they're doing. They'll lose the country. You know, there's some.
So hold on, Berlin bunker. I see if Biden left the 1988 race. So if somebody gives up, if somebody runs for president, doesn't do well, and gives up, then they should never be president. Is that what you're saying? Just to be clear, Berlin.
Somebody said the other day, and I say it very strongly, sir, you're the only one between that and the greatness of the American dream, and there's truth to it. We don't stop. We don't keep this position. We're going to win the House. I feel confident between that and the greatness of the American. We're going to win the House. I'm very much involved in every single race. And with the Senate, we're working very hard. I think we're going to be in great shape in the Senate. And I think we're in great. Did you see that CNN, they raised us 10 points in one poll that took place over a short period of time? And it's still not good enough. Still not good enough. You mean they're getting more honest? Because I'll tell you what, there's never been enthusiasm like we have. There's never been, including, right, Tom? Including in
Berlin, I don't care where you're from. Are you saying that if you bow out of the presidency run one time, then you're not allowed to run again? Then you should never be president? I just want to make clear.
2016, we've never had. We had more enthusiasm than anyone's seen, maybe ever, in a presidential campaign, and it pales in comparison to what's going on right now. It does. Even this, we wanted to restrict the crowd. We didn't tell anybody, and look at what happens. But look at voters for Trump. Look at bikers for Trump. They have highways with thousands of people. Thousands of people, you know, bikers going. I don't know if I'm driving along and I get passed by 2,000 bikers. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then they set the Guinness Book, I hear.
So, first off, the Secret Service is not letting 2,000 bikers pass Trump. He may be passing them, and he pretends he's afraid. Mr. Tough Guy. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do.
The world record yesterday for boats. But no matter where you...
A world record for Trump boat rallies. Woo!
In Florida, no matter where you go, a river, a lake, an ocean, the boats up there by the thousands on the weekend. The weekend is unbelievable. Minnesota Senate Majority Leader, Paul Gazelka. Paul, thank you, Paul. Good job, Paul. Are we doing good?
So, okay, so Berlin, let me get this straight. Yes or no? If you drop out of a presidency race, should you not be president in the future? You drop out, and then that disqualifies you from ever being president. Is that what you're saying?
We're doing good, right? I think we are, too. And Minnesota House Republican leader, another great one, Kurt Doubt. Kurt. So I'm sort of making it up as I go along, and that's okay. I've had to do that.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Now, these suckers are blowing like I'm saying, what the hell? Fortunately, I know these people. If I didn't know these people, you would have been in big trouble, I will tell you that. Another one I know very well, he's the single greatest and these suckers are about to fall down, but that's okay because I know him very well. Michael and Dean, great job, thank you. It's invaded our shores, we built the border, right? All made in Minnesota. Thank you very much, Mike. Before the China virus invaded our shores, we built the greatest economy in history. There was nothing like
We didn't.
it. We were beating everybody, including China. They had the worst year in 67 years. We were taking in billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Okay, so you're saying that if you lie, then you can't be president. Is that what you're saying, Berlin Bunker? I'm just trying to get what you're going at here, because you're not being clear.
Tariffs. Beautiful thing, tariffs, when used properly, especially when you're being taken advantage of by every nation in the world. We achieved record low unemployment for African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, young people, people with diplomas, people without diplomas, college students, crummy students, great students, horrible students, dumb people, liberal people, conservative people. Everybody was doing the best they've ever done. PhDs from MIT, PhDs from colleges.
No, I can't even. I got
Everybody
a PhD from MIT.
The best they've ever done. Median household income soared to the highest level ever recorded. Numbers were unbelievable to open new opportunities for Minnesota farmers and factory workers. We replaced the disaster known as NAFTA.
Just for the record, he's listing off all these imaginary segments of the population because, no, we did not have record unemployment. The general population did not hit record unemployment, and now we're over 10%. So, yeah, back in the past, I mean, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, you might have wanted to vote for President Trump. Now unemployment's over 10%. It's still running on the past.
With the brand new USMCA, which has been a big hit. Dairy exports to Canada are now expected to surge by at least 50%. I know how good the deal is. Don't tell Canada I said this because they were not happy about it.
They speak English and French.
Pickets about a deal. That makes you feel good. But they've been taking advantage, you know, Canada. Oh, Canada, wonderful song, right? Oh, Canada, nice.
No, it's
nice
terrible.
Song. Only one problem. They took advantage of us like crazy with your dairy tariffs, 297% tariff on your dairy products, right? I learned that when I came up here. They had specialty milk, a little thing, specialty milk, and I met a farmer, and he said what had happened with specialty milk, and that got me over the edge, and I said, we got to change this, because you were taken advantage of by Canada very badly, and by Mexico, and by China, and by Japan, and by friends and foe. And in many cases, friends were worse than the foe.
Oh, so you don't support Biden and you don't support Trump, Berlin Bunker, but why are you here? Like, I mean, I don't mind you being here. The longer you're here, the more money I make. It's great for me. I appreciate that. But, like, if they're both jokes, then what? All right, moving on from Berlin.
For years, you watched as politicians like Sleepy Joe Biden, who's been in office for 47 years.
By the way, fantastic song named Berlin by Bear. Who? Hold on, I'll look it up.
Out foreign nations to crush Minnesota's mining.
Minnesota's
mining industry was
he's trying to do the local
by
accent.
Tons and tons of cheap iron and steel into our country. I saw what was happening. I did something about it. I will tell you, China wants me to lose so badly. They all do. And yet I get along with all of them. Although China, I don't speak to them. After the plague came in, you know, we made a great deal with China. They announced last week that China ordered the largest amount of corn in history and the largest amount of soybeans in history and big cattle purchases, one of the biggest that anybody has seen. And I said, see how smart they are? If they weren't smart, they would have stopped and we would have said, let's decouple. But by ordering so much, the farmers come to me, sir, we like this deal a lot. Please don't do anything irrational. How smart is China, right? The biggest corn order, they said the biggest corn order in history. So I have to say, but I tell you, my view has changed a lot. We made a great deal with China, but my view has changed a lot. USMCA is the biggest deal ever made, and that one is working out great between Canada and Mexico. And remember this, Minnesota, under the last administration, Minnesota Iron Range was wiped out. 7 plants were idled and more than 2,000 workers were laid off. Obama and Biden closed it down. Do you remember that? The finest iron ore in the world, they say. I don't know.
The cold wind made your cheeks glow.
But they say it's the finest iron ore in the world. That's good enough for me.
Bear's Den is the name of the band. It's a good song. Berlin.
Almost immediately after getting into office, I heard about this disaster, just like Keystone Pipeline, just like so much else, Jason.
Okay. Dr. Howard, do not give me hockey scores in the chat or I will block you. I don't even know if you're talking about today or yesterday or whatever. Was it yesterday? Well, if it's yesterday and the Islanders won, okay, that's fine. But if they're playing today and you just told me that they won, dude, I will walk away.
And you'll be working on that with me in the halls of the beautiful halls of the Senate. And he's
okay, that's okay if it's yesterday.
He's not going to be one of those that gets elected. He's not going to be one of them.
I'm so tired of this guy. Here, let's watch this. This is beautiful. It's not a video. It's just someone put together this picture of Berlin with the lyrics, but it's a beautiful song. Let's listen. Anyway, they've got some great songs. So check out Bears. What are they? So that's how great they are. Give me a second. I got to do this. Bear's Den. It's a beautiful song. Somehow I discovered it when my mother passed. And that song is about going to a funeral or a memorial. So if you've lost somebody, maybe yourself, Mr. Trump, maybe give a listen to Bear's Den.
They get elected and then he walks into those...
I can see you're clearly broken up about the passing of your brother, and I feel for you.
Gorgeous buildings when they had those big, beautiful dollar bills. And they built marble columns, and it's so beautiful and so rich. He's not going to say, darling, we finally arrived. Now we can go with the majority. He's going to do what's right. I know, Jason.
Hey, Rich. Hey, Chris.
Jason, get Jason elected, please. But they closed it up.
Is he still talking about the other people there?
And a worker. I was making speeches before you had to stand 200 feet away from everybody. Before you had to stand like 2 football fields away. And a worker came up to me with a group of his friends, and they were all...
You want to try that joke a third time? Before you had to stand 16 kilometers because of Canada right across the border.
Crying, and they were tough. They never cried before in their life, maybe when they were babies, but I doubt it.
My mother, his brother died. His brother died. My mother passed away. And after she passed away, I discovered that song Berlin by Bear's Den, and it's beautiful.
They were all crying. He said, "Sir, you gave us back our life." He said that. I had that just recently in Maine. They took away 5,000 square miles. Think of a square mile.
Okay.
And then multiply it times 5,000. Took away 5,000 square miles. That was Biden. That was.
That was O'Biden. Is that what it is? So 5,000 square miles are like a square mile, but 5,000 of them. America's teachers, ladies and gentlemen, from Minnesota's March Donald Trump.
Biden, as I call him, Biden.
Oh,
That was Obama and Biden.
yeah.
Short. I like that term, Biden, because you save a lot of time.
Verbal kitty litter.
That was Obama and Biden in Maine. Took away 5,000 mics.
Says the guy who's now meandered for 17 minutes and 27 seconds. You save a lot of time. Just say, Biden. I totally did that intentionally every
Square
time.
miles. You know what that is? That's like, I said, let me see what it looks like on a map. They basically took away the Atlantic Ocean from Maine. And Maine is the great.
No, not even close. I really hope he goes further with the math on this one.
Greatest in the world for lobster and the greatest in the world just about for fishing. I said, why did he take this area? They didn't know, except that was the great fishing area. And I gave it back to them. I redid it. I took it off.
To protect the stocks that were being overfished, but
wiped it out. I gave an executive order that wiped it out immediately. And then we wiped out the tariffs that they were being charged by China and by, as you know, the...
I don't think that's true. I don't think China dropped the tariffs.
United Kingdom was charging tariffs. They were all charging tariffs to our fishermen, but we don't charge tariffs to them. So I made it fair.
We are literally charging tariffs to everybody right now. That's what your thing is, dude.
European Union was a disaster charging tariffs. They were charging big tariffs. We wouldn't. So here's what was happening. So Canada, they would sell the fish and lobster to Canada for nothing, for peanuts. And Canada would then sell it to China and also to the European Union.
Yeah, do you remember what that's called?
Because Canada had a deal where they didn't have to pay the tariffs. This was before my time. How this could have happened is incredible. So I said, listen, if you don't change your tariffs, I'm going to put tariffs in your car. It was amazing. They said, we'll change them immediately. Thank you very much. That took about 2 minutes. So I did a lot for Maine. We're going to see whether or not they remember, but I think Maine's going to remember. But I did similar for you when I opened up your great iron ore. And I put tariffs. I put tariffs on foreign steel. And the Iron Range came roaring back to life. You know that, right?
It's called transshipping. He knew that in Maine because someone said it to him, and he's forgotten it already.
Right? But these guys came up to me, you've given us back our life. I've never forgotten that. You've given us back our life. They didn't say thank you.
Producer Joanna, you like peanuts. Peanuts. Okay. Whew.
They didn't say thanks for the job. They said that's what they've done all their life. And Obama just came in and closed it up. I don't say Biden because I don't think he knows what the hell's happening. I think if you mention...
Okay, well then we can't really blame him.
You shouldn't have done that to Minnesota. He'll say, where's Minnesota? I don't know anything. I don't know what Minnesota is.
Did he say terrorists?
Thanks for the job. But these guys came up...
Wait, David, did he say terrorist on foreign steel?
Up to me, you've given us back our life. I've never forgotten that. You've given us back our life. They didn't say thanks. They didn't say thanks for the job. They said that's what they've done all their life. And Obama just came in and closed it up. I don't say Biden because I don't think he knows what the hell's happening. I think if you mention, you shouldn't have done that to Minnesota. He'll say, where's Minnesota? I don't know anything. I don't know what Minnesota is. Where is that, please? How many times, by the way, has he been up at a speech where he'll say the wrong state, right? He'll get up. It's great to be in the wonderful state of Ohio. Sir, you're in Florida. That's the bad one, when you see palm trees.
So he got this story wrong. He got the states wrong a few days ago. Do you remember that? He says he's in Ohio, but he says I'm in Florida, and you see palm trees.
It's wonderful to be in Ohio. Or, I love being with the people from Iowa. Sir, you're in Idaho. And he always gets New Hampshire mixed up with Vermont. But all the time he does that. I haven't
does
done
not.
it yet. If I do, I'm just leaving because there's no way you can save it, you know? There's no way you can save it. We recently issued a directive protecting workers on the Iron Range from unfair job-killing regulation and frivolous litigation.
Can I just say, though, Trump is right. Trump has never confused one state with another.
And we're building a wall in Colorado. We're building a beautiful wall, a big one that really works, that you can't get over, you can't get under.
Even better.
And we're building a wall in Colorado. We're building a beautiful wall, a big one that really works, that you can't get over, you can't get under.
That was one of the favorites. Let's get back to Mr. Trump.
In addition to everything else, we started construction.
Yes, true, Lizzie. He did confuse Kansas City and Kansas City.
On the new Sulak, right? Sulak, big deal. That's been deteriorating for many years. Just about gone, and we're redoing it now, rebuilding it. That's a big deal for your state and for others, so that the iron ore can quickly get to market. Sulak. Our miners are back on the job, and wages have increased by as much as 50%, and they're doing great. Even during the China plague, they're doing great. And the China plague will fade, but we will not forget. But if Biden wins
It's just going to fade. It's going to go away.
the Iron Range will be shut down forever. You know that. He'll shut it down very early on, forever. I took a lot of heat by doing that. I took a lot of heat from the so-called environmentalists. I'm an environmentalist, too, in a big sense. We just signed something the other day. Cory Gardner, Steve Daines, senators, great senators. And we signed a bill that's going to really be something incredible from an environmental standpoint, the biggest we've ever signed, they say, other than Teddy Roosevelt. It goes back to Teddy Roosevelt. I said, why isn't it bigger? Because we also did something tremendous for Utah. You know that? Thousands and thousands of acres. We opened it up. I said, why isn't it bigger than Teddy Roosevelt? I want bigger. Otherwise, I'm not signing it. They said, sir, he did the Grand Canyon and a few other things. I said, all right, that's pretty big. Grand Canyon is big. Do we agree? Even for Mike Lindell, the Grand Canyon. Even Mike would admit the Grand Canyon's tough to beat, right?
What is he
So
talking
anyway,
about?
But we did. We signed it, and it's one of the biggest acts. They say the biggest thing environmentally done since Teddy Roosevelt. That's a long time ago. We achieved together, and what we're doing together is nothing short of an economic miracle, and now we're doing it again. We did it. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and now I have to do it again. You know what that is? That's right.
Never did it the first time.
Right. That's God testing me. Said, you know, you did it once. And I said, did I do a great job, God? I'm the only one that could do it. He said, that you shouldn't say. Now we're going to have you do it again. I said, okay, I agree. You
I don't know how that's not blasphemy, but all right.
got me. But I did it once, and now I'm doing it again. And you see the kind of numbers that we're putting up. They're unbelievable. Best job numbers ever. 3 months, more jobs in the last 3 months.
More than 10% unemployment. Best job numbers ever.
Months than ever before. Best retail sales in history.
I don't know what the Sula River is all about. So, okay, it could be something. I'm not seeing it in the list of rivers in Minnesota, but maybe it's spelled with a PS or something. I have no idea.
Best car sales. Did you see where the car sales are actually above what they were? Did you see the manufacturing?
Yeah, because nobody bought a car for 3 months. So,
Remember, you're not going to have manufacturing
oh, by the way, have you seen the deals for the cars right now? If there was ever time to buy a car.
back. You needed a magic wand for manufacturing. Well, we got the magic wand because the manufacturing numbers are through the roof. And your state Last year had the best year
Rich.
it ever had, right? Best year it ever had. And now you're going to have something that's even better. So I just want to tell you, we're going to do it again. By the way, third quarter numbers come out. And interestingly, they will
Right before the election.
come out just before November 1st. And we're going to see how I did. But I think you're going to have a great third quarter. People are now starting to predict it, much to their chagrin, right? Much to their chagrin. They're just like CNN.
The Democrats have to work hard to really pin the coronavirus on Trump and his lack of reaction to it. Because, yeah, the numbers will come out and they will be better, theoretically. Hopefully. On the one hand, the virus combined with the flu could make for a very bad year. And the economy might shut up even more, which we don't want. In which case, the election's Biden. Easy. If the economy continues to improve, which should be the case, again, that could hand Trump the election. Because the Republicans are really good at spinning things, even if it's a lie. And the Democrats are terrible at putting things into context because they're not outrageous. And not being outrageous, being sane and reasonable, doesn't get sound bites. The Democrats have to figure out how to get sound bites.
Said he's up 10 points. They all said 10 points. 10 points. First of all, the first poll was rigged and wrong. It was a rigged poll. Just like they want to try and rig the election with all these mail-in ballots. Let's send out 62 million ballots.
So the old poll was rigged. The new poll isn't rigged. Oh, but speaking of rigged, the ballots. Pick a topic.
Well, you know, and some people say, gee, you shouldn't talk. I got to talk about it. Because absentee ballots are good. You send for the ballot, you're not going to be in your state, and you get it back, and you do something, and you
They
send
need a
it
Brad
back in,
per scale.
It's a process.
You're right.
You have to work for it a little bit. But these ballots, they want to send them out in some states. They want to send them out, and they want to just have millions of ballots. They said, oh, we drop them in a lockbox. I just saw the great thing about Air Force One, there's no lack of television. You have televisions on the ceilings, in the closets, on the floors. No matter where you go, there's a television. You open the closet, there's a television. I say, no, too much Trump, I can't watch anymore. I try and get away. You put yourself in a closet. But they have a lot of stuff. And they showed this person.
So he goes gay with Pence on the plane? Is that what he's saying? He's in the Mile High Club with Mike?
Getting on Fox. You know, Fox now puts on more Democrats just about than they do Republicans. They have certainly changed a lot. Fox has changed a lot. They're probably turning off right now as I speak, but I don't care. I tell the truth. It's ridiculous. One of the biggest differences between this year and 4 years ago is Fox. Fox is like from a different planet, and too bad. And you know what's going to happen? If we don't win, they're going to go down the tubes along with every other media outlet. They'll all be bust. They'll all be gone.
Night, Bart.
I can tell you that. Nobody's going to want to cover Sleepy Joe. We'll end up with one very boring socialist country that'll go to hell. But when you look at it and when you look at what's happening, that's why we have to win this.
A boring socialist country. Maybe better than what we've got right now? Like, I would love to be bored by government again. Wouldn't that be great? Well, what's going on with the people in D.C. there? Nothing? Okay.
Election. And if we don't win this election, every one of you, me, all of us, it'll never be the country. I don't think the country can ever come back to it. I used to use Venezuela a lot. You know, I don't know if I even really fully believed it, but I'd say.
I don't know if I really ever fully believed it.
Venezuela, we would indeed become, when I look at these maniacs in Portland, these anarchists in Portland, when I look at these people, that's what they want for the rest of the country. They want to defund their police. They want to terminate their police. You know something about that. You've had your little stance where they want to. Did they actually do that? They actually are terminating the police department, right? They are actually doing it. They're not even talking about it.
You've had your little dance, you know, the riot where they burned down much of the city. Yeah, I'm sure the people in Minnesota are like, it was kind of more than just a little, if you could not belittle the riots.
Terminating
You know, where George Floyd was killed by the police and then people were upset and burned down many, many stores. You know, the stores belonging to the people that you just had at your previous rally about an hour ago and told their heartbreaking stories. So if you could not belittle that, that would be super dupe.
The police department, these people are crazy. And by the way, when I sent in the National Guard, that's when it all stopped. And I kept calling.
Trump did not send in the National Guard. The governor of Minnesota called in the National Guard on the 28th at 11 a.m. Trump didn't even tweet about the National Guard until after midnight that same night. So no, he did not call in the National Guard.
I kept calling and saying, send in the National Guard, send in the National Guard. They should have done it a lot sooner.
They did, as a matter of fact. They did it about 7 or 8 hours sooner than him. I think I had that tweet pulled up earlier. I don't have it right now. I'll find it. He's going to go right on to something else here. I did watch this part.
And that was a beautiful, I just stopped someplace else and I said, to me it was a beautiful sight. They were riding all over. They full of vim and vigor. They thought nobody was going to stop them.
Vim and vigor? The riders? It's not something you typically say about riders.
The police department is very good, but they were told you can't do anything. They have to be able to do what they do very well. So they were told they couldn't do anything, and the city was ablaze. It was ablaze. I'll never forget the CNN reporter. He's standing there with his very nice shaved head. Right now, I wish I had a shaved head. It would be a good, instead of the wind.
Okay, this part is crucial. Pay attention to this, because this is hilarious.
It was ablaze. I'll never forget the
He'll never forget the CNN reporter.
CNN reporter. He's standing there with his very nice shaved head. Right now, I wish.
He's standing there with his very nice shaved head, because that matters. Again, he'll never forget the CNN reporter.
I had a shaved head. It would be a good, instead of the wind. But you know what? He's standing there. Velcher, right? Ali Velcher.
Wrong. Velshi. Ali Velshi. And he's not on CNN. He's on MSDNC.
And he's standing there. Things seem quite calm right now. And behind him, they have the entire city. Looks like it's burning down for blocks. He's standing there talking because the fake news doesn't report the truth. And they don't.
Doesn't report the truth. We actually, I know what video he's talking about. Ali Velcher was criticized for it on MSNBC for downplaying the violence, that people felt like he was downplaying the violence. Hold on a second. You know what? I actually posted the wrong video on Twitter when I did it earlier. I don't know why it turned out that way, but I'm glad I checked right now because that is not the video that it should be. Hold on just a second, guys. Give me a second here. You guys talk amongst yourself, and let's see.
I'll never forget the
Yeah, never forget. There it is. That's weird. The right video didn't post when I posted to Twitter. I'm going to share it, and I'll have it there in a second. In the meantime, let's take a look at, let me first share it, and I'll have it downloaded in a moment. There we go, and save that. Let's take a look at Trump's tweets. So we know that the governor of Minnesota, on the 28th at 11 a.m. in the morning, he called in the National Guard because the National Guard has records of that. Here's Trump's response in tweets. This is May 28th, same day at 9:53 p.m. Pacific time, because Twitter shows you this time. It's after midnight. So the next day, technically, Washington, D.C. time. Trump says, either the very weak radical left mayor Jacob Frey gets his act together and bring the city under control, or I will send in the National Guard and get the job done right. National Guard had already been called in earlier that same day. Then you'll remember Twitter blocked his next part of that tweet because in it, any difficulty and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you, he says. So all of that's lies. Let's go back to Trump's thin skin
Don't
here.
talk about how serious it is and how bad it is. But remember this, it's only a small part of our country. It's not a big part, very small. But they don't report the facts because they don't want to report those facts because those facts are very bad.
You know, Ali Velcher on CNN doesn't report the facts.
For Joe Biden and for the radical left. And they want them to win for whatever reason, I don't know, because they'll all lose their networks, they'll all lose their wealth, everything will be gone. But they'll figure it out someday, but we're not going to let them have that chance.
You know, the way there were no networks when Obama was around.
As much as in many ways they should not be rewarded, they're going to be rewarded if I win because our country is only going up in one direction. So that's the way it is. To
Up
fight
is
the
one
China
direction.
virus,
He's right.
We've enacted the largest financial relief package in American history. Through the Paycheck Protection Program, we saved 1 million Minnesota jobs. We've also delivered nearly $5 billion in economic relief straight to Minnesota families. You know that. It kept it all going. And would like to do it again, except the Democrats, all they want is $1 trillion. $1 trillion. They're not interested in the people. They're not interested in the post office. It's all a ruse. It's all a con. They're only interested in getting $1 trillion. You guys know that. Getting $1 trillion for states that are badly run blue states.
That's not true. They're interested in getting $1 trillion for workers in all the states, including emergency workers or not emergency workers, essential workers. Everybody gets a $13 an hour bonus for doing the danger work, and that includes people in grocery stores, police officers, nurses, doctors are not included in that list. Everyone making less than a certain amount gets an extra $13 an hour. That's $300 billion right there. And that doesn't matter what state you're in. But in Trump's mind and in Mitch McConnell's mind, all of that money is only for the blue states, which is nonsense. Right now, it would be going to Florida. It would be going to Texas. It would be going to Arizona. It would be going to wherever there is an outbreak and essential workers have to work in a certain amount of corona pandemic. What am I saying? Certain amount of cases or positivity rate, but it's in there. So that's just nonsense. But yeah, check out Ali Velcher on CNN here. This is what he's talking about, saying Trump, remember, said, "Oh, it's all peaceful. It's all peaceful." Let's see if that's what actually happened.
I'll never forget the CNN reporter. He's standing there.
MSNBC.
With his very nice shaved head. Right now, I wish I had a shaved head. It would be a good instead of the wind. But you know what? He's standing there. Velcher, right? Ali Velcher. And he's standing there. Things seem quite calm right now. Okay. And behind him, they have the entire city. Looks like it's burning down for blocks. He's standing there talking because the fake news doesn't report the truth.
Right now, no government authority, no authority whatsoever has control over this area. The people have control over this area, and this is what's happening right now. There's a lot of venting going on. There are definitely people who've come up to me. They're not happy about the way this is unfolding. They're not happy about the damage to public property. But boy, the anger, I can't. I mean, your pictures show it, Brian.
Visceral anger, there is no government control right now. In other words, it's all peaceful. It's all peaceful while the city burns behind me. That's what Trump saw. Unless there's a reporter named Ali Velcher on CNN who said that everything's so peaceful. If there is, I apologize. And I will eat a mega hat.
Very badly run by government.
Put cheese on it and melt it. Honestly, I will eat anything. A little garlic powder.
Governors and mayors like New York, Illinois, California. I won't name any more because to be
all of the states in alphabetical order because they're all eligible for receiving the PPP money. Oh, that's another thing. In that $1 trillion well, it is $1 trillion. And all that money for the blue states. Blue states. That's taking the PPP, which says right now that you have to spend 75% of it on employees by a certain date, or you have to pay back the loan. If you spend it 75%, then the loan is forgiven. Here's the thing: a lot of the owners are saying, like, yeah, okay, great. There's no demand, so I can't necessarily pay my employees 75% of this money because I have to pay my rent. I have a lease in this property, especially the restaurant owners. The demand is so low. I can't have people eating inside. It's raining outside today, so no one is eating outside. I can't. Do I have to really hit that 75% mark? The Democrats are saying, no, 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 go ahead. That money, we're boosting the economy. You don't have to pay it back. The 75% mark is gone. That's in there. And that's part of what they're calling a blue state bailout. But that's every single state in the union.
To be honest, he's going to Minnesota. I don't know. I don't like to be so personal, but you do have some issues, I will say that. Of all places, I would be very surprised. I was very surprised. Unlike Sleepy Joe Biden, our approach to the pandemic is based on science, not left-wing ideology. Slow Joe opposed the travel ban on China.
Now he's Slow Joe.
That I instituted. Remember he came out, oh, it's xenophobic. I said, what does that mean, Joe? Tell me, Joe, can you describe? Remember he came out, he called me all sorts of things, a racist and everything, and then he said I was right. I was early, way, way early. We would have lost hundreds.
Did he just say xenophobic?
Of thousands of. Remember he came out, he called me all sorts of things, a racist and everything, and then he said I was right.
Wait, go back.
Not left-wing ideology. Slow Joe opposed the travel ban on China that I instituted. Remember he came out, oh, it's xenophobic. I said, what does that mean, Joe? Tell me, Joe, can you describe? Remember he came out, he called me all sorts of things, a racist and everything, and then he said I was right. I was early, way, way early. We would have lost hundreds of thousands of additional lives. And that's pretty much agreed by everybody. Then I put the ban on Europe coming in because they were ahead of us. And when I looked at Italy and I looked at France and Spain, I said, we got to put it on. And a lot of people
hold on. I got to hear that again.
Everybody instituted. Remember he came out, oh, it's xenophobic. I said, what does that mean, Joe?
Welcome to Own Your Words. Xenophobia. Meaning and pronunciation.
Okay. That's not what I was trying to play. I was trying to play when Trump called it Zemophobia.
Tell me, Joe, can you describe? Remember he came out, he called me all sorts of things, a racist and everything, and then he said I was right. I was early, way, way early. We would have lost hundreds of thousands of additional lives.
Oh, I found it. Here it is. This is him in 2016. He makes fun of Joe Biden for not knowing what xenophobic means. But here's him in trying to... He didn't know what it meant after Hillary Clinton called him xenophobic in 1982. I'm losing it, folks. 1917, when they had the flu. In 2016, Hillary Clinton called him his followers basket of deplorables. Half of his followers basket of deplorables, called them xenophobic. And his response to that was...
She called these Americans every name in the book. Racist, sexist, xenophobic, Islamophobic.
Xenophobic. He had no idea what the word meant because they were afraid of malt beverages in the 80s.
And that's pretty much agreed by everybody. Then I put the ban on Europe coming in because they were ahead of us. And when I looked at Italy and I looked at France and Spain, I said, we got to put it on. And a lot of people didn't want that. They said we were right about that. And then we started getting into the manufacturing business with the ventilators and all of the equipment. And what we did is incredible. The governors were not prepared. We made a lot of governors look good by supplying massive amounts of equipment. Massive. Not one person in this country, we didn't have very many ventilators at all. Way undersupplied. Not one person in this.
We had 16,600 ventilators. We only needed 11,000, as it turns out, at the peak of the crisis. Now, we may be headed for another peak, and it's a good thing we're building more, but we had plenty.
Country.
Now, they were not being maintained by the Trump administration. And remember, if the cupboards were bare, if we didn't have enough of something, Trump had already been in power for 3 years. That's his responsibility. He's the shipping clerk.
That needed a ventilator didn't get the ventilator. So every single person that needed one got one, which is pretty amazing. We have a big country with a lot of diversity, a lot of different states. And now we're making thousands of ventilators a month, and we're supplying them to the rest of the world because they're not equipped to make a ventilator. It's very complex, very expensive. We're making thousands a month. We have all we can use. Now Biden wants to...
It's not that complex a machine.
Lock all Americans in their basements for months on end, which would inflict permanent
Again, why their basement? First off, I don't have a basement. This isn't Pizzagate. Secondly, yeah, the basements can be cool in the summer heat if you got one, or if there's a tornado, so middle America.
Irreversible harm on our nation's children, families, health, and economy. By contrast, my administration is following data-driven and science-based approaches that apply to common sense mitigation, aggressively sheltering those at greatest risk, our seniors, we have to shelter them, and delivers effective medical treatments to save thousands and thousands of lives. And when you look at the rest of the world, you know, they were trying to say, oh, we weren't doing. Now all of a sudden a lot of the places that they were using to hold up, they're having a big surge. They're having and I don't want that. I don't want that. But they were holding up names of countries, and now they're saying, whoops. In fact, even New Zealand, you see what's going on in New Zealand. They beat it. They beat it. It was like front page. They beat it because they wanted to show me something. The problem is big surge in New Zealand. So, you know.
Yeah, 9 cases. They had 9 cases. And they've locked the city down. They've locked, I think it was Auckland. They had 4 cases in one family, so it came from one family. They had 9 new cases yesterday. We had 44,000, 50,000. It's not even on the same planet. Almost literally. 9 versus, somebody look up, how many cases did we have yesterday in the United States? But yeah, 9 cases.
It's terrible. We don't want that. But this is an invisible enemy that should have never been let to come to this country.
Oh, technically,
to Europe,
though,
the rest of the world,
technically, New Zealand has 9 cases tomorrow because they're.
Just remember it. Just remember it. They fake. That's right. The fatality rate for Americans over 70 has declined by 85% since April. We've learned. We know. We have some great things now, too. Europe, by contrast, has experienced a 40% higher rate of excess mortality than the United States. Think about that. You don't.
No, that is not accurate. That depends on what you define as excess mortality. But yeah, it is entirely possible, though, because Europe got hit. As he just said, they were earlier than the United States. And we did learn things, and we're still learning things. So that's possible? I'd have to really look into it.
Hear those stories. They don't tell you that, Tom, do they? You don't hear that in Congress, right?
Yeah, because it's completely inconsequential to your handling of the coronavirus.
We launched the largest mobilization of American goods since the World War II. Think of it, since World War II. This is the largest mobilization since World War II, creating the most advanced testing system in the world, producing thousands of ventilators and launching Operation Warp Speed to deliver and distribute.
Did he say launching?
Creating the most advanced testing system in the world, producing thousands of ventilators and launching Operation Warp Speed to deliver.
Launching 3310. Okay, marking it down.
Distribute a vaccine before the end of the year in record time. We're at a very, very close point to the vaccine and to therapeutics. And therapeutics, to me, are more important right now. You go into the hospital, whether it's a transfusion or whether it's a shot, and you feel better.
Are we applauding therapeutics?
2 days later, or a day later, or 3 days.
Money laundering? I don't know.
Later, but that would be a great thing, and we're very close. We have great companies working on it, because we will defeat the China virus. We're going to be stronger than we ever were.
COVID.
Next year is going to be record-setting numbers, and you see that when you look at the V. And the V is turning out to be true. You know, I was saying a V, and everybody was saying a V is impossible. But the V is, it's beyond a V. It's a super V based on the numbers that we have now.
It is a super V.
So we'll see what happens. And we would like to give additional money to people. We would like to. It wasn't their fault that they got hit by China. But you know what? We want to give them additional money, and we'll take care of, again, the postal.
Go ahead. Go ahead and give up that additional money. I will be happy to receive it. Especially now since Kevin Lee Daughter is now getting $81 a week on unemployment. 81. That's all she's getting. I'm down to, I haven't looked. It's $232, I think. $232 a week. So that puts me at 8, 9, so about $930 a week. Sorry, a month. Whereas previously, I'm out of my apartment now, but my apartment was $2,000. I don't know how anybody is surviving if they're in the situation that myself and my daughter are in, and they don't have the kind of support system that we have. We're lucky. We're extremely blessed, but wow.
Office has been a disaster for many, many decades. We want to strengthen the post office, make it good. It lost $78 billion over a relatively short number of years.
It didn't lose that money. It has to take that money and put it into a fund for 1,000 years to cover the pensions for the postal workers. 1,000 years. Okay, I'm exaggerating. It's for 5 years. Ha! I'm kidding. It's for 75 years. They have to put away money to cover pensions for the next 75 years. Tell me one other business in the United States that has it. It's not a business. Trick question. It's a United States Postal Service. It's not intended to make money. The military isn't intended to make money. The government isn't intended to make money. It's a service. And the founding fathers knew how important the communication of the Postal Service was. That's why they put it in the actual Constitution.
Billion. I want to strengthen the post office, and we can do it. So that if you look, Amazon and all these companies that now do, it's a whole new business. They just drop a lot of it right into the post office, and we lose $2 and $3 every time we deliver a package. What's that all about? And he gets richer.
Man, I'm sorry, WLC. Yeah, people are getting evicted all over the place. Homelessness is going up. The eviction stop, the ban. Remember, Trump signed that 2 weeks ago. The executive order saying, "Hey, we're," and he said it was going to put the stop on evictions again. I'm trying to remember his exact words. I don't remember what the exact words were. But yeah, people are losing their places to live.
And they get richer.
Anyway, what I was going to say about that is he told HUD and he told HHS, all the executive order says is, hey, come up with some ideas. Let's have a think about how we could stop evictions. I haven't heard a word about it. I have not heard any announcements from HUD, from HHS. Not to say they didn't happen because the press isn't crazy about covering that, but I read the news voraciously. I read the news xenophobically.
How smart is that? For every package they deliver, it's $2 and $3 a package. So why aren't they raising the prices to Amazon
not true.
And to these companies that are making all this money? Instead, we pay for it.
They may be getting a bulk discount, but they are not losing $2 and $3 a package unless you count in that 75 years that they have to squirrel away right now.
And they always seem to open their distribution facilities right next to a post office. So they take a lot of the goods that they can't distribute because the post office is massive, much bigger than those companies. Believe it or not, you wouldn't think it, but much, much bigger. And they go to areas of Minnesota and other states that you can't reach, you'll never reach, and they just dump thousands of packages into the post office, and they say, good luck, here's your $2, here's your $1.
None of that is even close to being accurate. The USPS actually comes to the Amazon facilities and picks up the pre-labeled packages. They'll come to your house. If they're taking away your mailboxes, you're fine. As long as you have a mailbox at home or on the road somewhere where you get your mail, put your letter in there, put your ballot in there. They'll take it away.
Here's your 52 cents. No, we got to do that. So that's my opinion. What do I know about delivery? What do I?
Thank you, Rich. I'm in a very good situation right now. I'm not being charged rent. But yes, I could have used that back in when was this whole thing? It was like 1917. It was 88 years ago. I could have used that back in, when did I leave? I guess I gave up my apartment at the end of May. And unfortunately, there was no rent relief. And what I thought at the time, too, there was some talk of it, and there was eviction. I didn't want to put that on my landlord. I would rather them put somebody in there they could pay, who was on real unemployment or had a job that wasn't eliminated or had the PPP or whatever. Plus, there are people who need that money much more than I do. Again, I'm so blessed. I have people like you, and I have people in my life who've literally opened their doors to us. French doors. There's 2 of them. And they said, come on in. And we said, close the door to the cat. You're going to... Jules, come here. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, ladies. Back to Trump. I'm going to go get some more nuts. Rick D's nuts.
I know. That's my opinion. That's a new business, but we have to, we're being taken advantage of by all of those companies. And they should pay, not the people. My administration also understands that economic health is vital to public health. Over the past 3 months, we've gained 9 million jobs nationwide, which is a new record. Retail spending is fully recovered and is now at an all-time high. We have more retail spending now than we did before the plague came in from China. Auto production surged 28%. Joe Biden would crush this unprecedented economic recovery. During his 47 years in Washington, think of that, 47 years. Joe Biden, and it's really amazing. For 47 years, he did nothing. Now he's telling everybody how he's going to make it wonderful, right? Doesn't work that way. And he's not exactly prime time now either, by the way. Joe Biden supported every globalist attack on the American worker. NAFTA, which was a disaster. TPP, which I didn't allow to happen. The horrible Korea deal. South China's entry in...
South Korea deal. What I miss, guys? Just lies? Lies? Yeah? Okay. Judges? Lies. Okay, thank you. Moving on.
To the World Trade Organization might have been the worst of them all. It created China. Now Biden is running on the most extreme far-left agenda ever put forward by a...
I missed all of that, but did he just say that the World Trade Organization created China? Because it did not.
The organization might have been the worst of them all. It created...
Go back, hold on.
Which I didn't allow to happen.
Yeah.
The horrible Korea deal. South China's entry into the World Trade Organization might have been the worst of the disaster.
What?
TPP.
South China?
Which I didn't allow to happen. The horrible Korea deal. South China's entry into the World Trade Organization might have been the worst of them all. It created China. Now Biden is running on the...
South China's entry into the World Trade Organization might have been the worst deal of all. It created China. What was that? I know we're behind right now. Is that just all over Twitter? Is that because that is complete lunacy, and he has no idea what he's saying there. South China, well, that is true. South China is Thailand. It did create Thailand. Thailand, Thailand, beautiful girls and Thailand. Hold on, I am putting that down. That's getting captured later and sent to Thailand. 3654, South China. Is he just reading random words off the teleprompters now? Thailand. So many times in this administration, I thought, well, that's got to be it. We're done with, oh yeah, everyone's going to move. They're going to see and they're going to go, like, this guy's a fucking moron. South China. One more time. I'm just going to take it back about 20 seconds here because I just want to make sure. I was out refreshing my beverage and you guys let your guard down. And I can never forgive you for that. Okay, I'm over it.
Every globalist attack on the American worker.
Globalist? Dog whistle.
NAFTA, which was a disaster. TPP, which I didn't allow to happen. The horrible Korea deal. South China's entry into the World Trade Organization might have been the worst of them all. It created China. Now Biden is running on the most extreme far-left agenda ever put forward by a major party. Biden's joint manifesto, we call it a manifesto with Bernie Sanders, Crazy Bernie.
Wow.
Would raise taxes and...
Crazy Bernie, but South China and WTO created China.
Increase regulation.
You know, The oldest surviving country on the planet, created by South China as part of Thailand.
At an unprecedented rate. He will kill the stock market. He will kill everything that we're talking about today. He'd also abolish
He will kill the population of Thailand.
Immigration enforcement, abolish bail, abolish the suburbs, abolish effective policing, abolish American energy, and abolish the American way of life. Otherwise, he'd do quite a good job, I think.
Oh, I get it. That's sarcasm. But he didn't say he'd abolish Windows. That's a breath of fresh air.
He raised his hand and pledged to give free health care to illegal aliens, okay? A lot of you people, when you have problems, you don't get free health care, but he wants to give it. He wants to give lawyers, free legal assistance to people that come into our country illegally.
So a lot of those people in the audience don't get free health care. A lot of them may go bankrupt because of medical bills. Do we see the problem here?
And his vice presidential
What would
candidate,
mean?
Biden picked Kamala Harris. She's a beauty.
Kamala. Randy Rainbow out with a new song, Kamala. Parody of Camelot. Good song. I haven't watched the whole thing. What I did watch, I enjoyed. So your homework, Berlin by Bears Den. That'll make you sad, and then watch Randy, and it'll make you all happy again. Kamala.
Who co-sponsored a $32 trillion socialist takeover of healthcare and our country, because our country would be ruined, destroyed. And the 33, think of this, you had 33 in healthcare and $93 trillion
32.
on the socialist Green New Deal, which doesn't work. It's like written by a child. It's written by a child, a foolish child. It's written by a foolish child. I have a very different vision for America's future, and you got to see it before the plague, but you're seeing it again right now, even more so. It starts with creating 10 million jobs in the next 10 months, and that's what's happening. Over the next 4 years, we will cut even more taxes substantially and regulations. That's why people are pouring into our country to open up factories. They're bringing them back to Minnesota and every place else. In Michigan, we have auto plants opening up left and right and expanding. They haven't seen that in 42 years. We will end our reliance on China. We will make our critical drugs and supplies right here in the United States. And you know, when you see the drug companies, they're very rich, very sophisticated. When you see them taking ads against Donald Trump.
Still have not seen that. Has anyone seen a drug company ad against Donald Trump?
Those ads are for one reason, because I'm bringing you drug prices way down. I instituted a favored nations clause. So if Germany or any place, anywhere in the world is getting their drugs for less, which they do, a tiny
So 10 cents instead of $2?
fraction of what we pay, they have to meet those prices. So instead of saying, somebody should have done this, Obama, Biden.
What about O'Biden?
Anybody should have done, other presidents should have done this. Our drug prices are many times higher than other countries, many, many times. In Canada,
It's true.
the price is half and better than that. And I gave Florida,
True.
Ron DeSantis, a great governor, gave him the right to buy
Not
his
true.
drugs directly from Canada. He's going to save half. So everyone, you know, right now you
Not
can't
true.
do that. I gave him, and I gave another state, Colorado, the authority to go to, if they want, they could go buy prior to the favored nations kicking in. But the favored nations clause could reduce drugs by 50, 60, 70, even 80%. Think of that one. And I'm the only president in 51 years that had a year, last year, where drug prices came down, but that was peanut stuff compared to what I'm talking about.
It was penis stuff? So just Viagra?
So when you see those ads, if you don't mind, and you see the drug companies hitting me, you'll say, thank you, President Trump, for reducing drug prices. I guarantee you, if they were going up, they wouldn't be taking ads. Makes sense, I guess.
They are going up again. But okay. Again, I haven't seen any drug company ads against Trump. Hold on, I'll look.
That's right. I hope people understand that because they are spending a lot of money. They don't like me. I did something that was unthinkable. Check out the words favored nation. Check out the word rebate, because now I take the rebate for the people, and I take the rebate to reduce the prices. They took the rebate, went to a middleman. The middleman, I never heard the term middle woman, but I guess probably that too. But the middleman got all this money, I don't know who they are. Nobody knows who they are. The middleman, you always hear it. They made more money than the drug companies. At least the drug companies made a product. But the middleman is not liking Donald Trump too much. I probably have a lot of friends that are middlemen. I don't even know it. They have beautiful homes.
Oh, hold on. Okay, yeah, everybody knows who the middleman. I mean, they have to declare themselves to the IRS. That's how it works. There may be an actual ad. PCMA. So this is a new ad campaign. President Executive Order will significantly raise Medicare premiums and federal spending. Let me see if there's an ad associated. Is there an ad? Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, click here to see the TV ad. Oh, wow, okay, so this is a thing, guys. Let's watch this together. So, are the drug companies, at least one drug company, taking out at least one ad against Trump?
The Trump administration just announced a new plan to raise Medicare premiums.
During a pandemic.
Just before an election.
When drug costs are already so high.
President Trump has fought for seniors before.
I'm sure he'll fight for us now.
Call the White House and tell them to stop their plan to raise our Medicare premiums.
Paid for by pharmaceutical something or other, and then they've got a digital ad as well. Give me 1 second here, and okay, now how can I get that there? Here we go. So digital ads right here. This might be the same thing. Here, this is something.
The president is deeply committed to protecting America's seniors. He does not want any risk that any action could cause seniors' premiums to increase. That was HHS Secretary Azar 1 year ago. But the Trump administration just announced a plan to raise Medicare premiums and out-of-pocket costs for seniors.
During a pandemic.
Just before an election.
When drug costs are already so high.
Call the White House. Tell them to keep their promise and stop their plan to raise Medicare.
Costs are already so...
So he's reading a paper called Seniors Daily. Sounds totally legit. With no pictures on the front. Just big black and white. Drug rebates rule to raise seniors' premiums. And on the back it says, advertisement. Call your...
So high.
Call the White House.
Senators. That's what it says on the back there. So, I don't yet subscribe to Seniors Daily, but I did turn almost 50 again. So, I'm going to be there. I'm missing stuff. You guys are going too fast for me. I don't hear raise the premiums. Yeah, so the thinking being, so part of the, I don't even want to get into it. It's all just postulation at this point, and I can't tell you. But those must be those are the only drug ads that I've seen that Trump is talking about. So again, we're going to rate that true. They're going to scare the seniors into calling the senators and saying, please don't let him do this. But the bottom line is, yeah, drugs are way too expensive in this country. All medical care is way too expensive in this country. If you spread the costs around and you don't let hospitals, doctors, and drug companies charge whatever they want, like every other developed nation, good news, bad news, a couple of years back, I got booked in a commercial, and it was a commercial for AARP. So they thought I looked old enough to be in AARP. Now I am.
I say, I wonder where they made their money. They're very wealthy, but they're not so wealthy anymore. We are getting the rebates. We're keeping the money for our people. We will create tax credits for companies that bring jobs from China.
The rebates go to the pharmacies, so I'm not, or the middlemen. I don't know what he's talking about. By the way, the Consumer Price Index, which is where he says, oh, they went lower, the drug prices went lower for the first time in 50, blah, 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 blah. Drug prices went down by 1%, but the CPI also takes into account the rebates, the kickbacks, which the consumer doesn't get. You don't get your prescription and then, fill this form out and they'll send you a rebate from the drug company. No, those go to the pharmacy. Those go to the middle. Those go to the doctors. So no, drug prices have not gone down for Americans, unless those Americans happen to be pharmacies.
Back to America, and we'll impose tariffs on companies that leave America to produce jobs overseas. One of the things in the USMCA that was very important.
So he's planning to tariff American companies. Just so you know, Republicans, here's your free market president saying, hey, American corporations, I'm a tariff you. That's what's going on, free marketers.
I don't want our companies going to Mexico, going to Canada anymore. I watched that. I was Man of the Year 11 years ago in Michigan. I don't know why, but they picked me. That was long before I thought in terms of running. Are we glad I ran? I think so.
You don't know why you were Man of the Year in Michigan because it's a fake. He just made that up. No one can figure out from Daniel Dale on down the line, the fact checkers, and I think it's Daniel Dale's favorite fact check. Excuse me, Daniel Dale's. Speaking of getting old, I just swallowed the wrong way. There's no Michigan Man of the Year award. No one can find it. We would have found it by now.
So what do you think, yes? I think so. But that was long before I thought about this, Mike. And I said, I was in Michigan, very nice, Man of the Year, that was great. And I said, they're taking your car companies, they're moving them all to Mexico. Anyway, 32% of our cars are made in Mexico. How crazy. But it's that way, that's the way it happened. But I said the most important deal in the USMCA, I don't want anybody moving to Mexico, firing their people, moving there, making a car, selling it in for no tax. I don't want that anymore. Can't happen. And that's not going to happen. There is such a huge economic disincentive.
Oh, Allison, that's cruel. He's Man of the Minute per Stormy.
Incentive to do that. So we'll
Michelin Man. These are all good. Heavenly Father, you were Man of the Year in California. I was Man of the Beer, and I don't even like beer. So that was a surprise on that one.
Federal contracts from companies that outsource critical industries. We're going to strip it with the help of ministers.
About a third of the car itself is made in Mexico, not just the car, but the parts. A lot of the parts are made in Mexico. It's an integrated system. A lot of the American cars are actually made in Canada. There's plants right there in Ontario. So look at the first number of your VIN, and that'll tell you 1, 2, 3. There's a J in there. I think that's Japan, or 4 is Japan. I'd have to go look at my car. Anyway, there's a code to it all. But yeah, much of the car can be made in other countries all around the world. That's the way that we operate now. We have an international economy. But Trump wants to go back to 1952.
Minnesota workers, we will be the premier medical and pharmaceutical manufacturer anywhere in the world.
It is. It's Person of the Year, by the way. The made-up award was Person of the Year in Michigan.
And
that's how you know it was made up.
You see it already. The drug companies are starting to give up. Now, I'll tell you, if for some reason the other side happens to have a victory on November 3rd,
W is Germany. Rich is right. Rich knows this stuff. Either that or he's just Googling it.
Forget everything I said. It'll all be made in China Plus. It'll all be made in other countries like Vietnam and other places.
In China Plus?
And November 3rd.
What did he say?
Forget everything I said. It'll all be made in China Plus. It'll all be made in other countries.
China Bluffs? Is that in South China? China? Is he saying China Plus, guys? I'm leaning in more to listen. It's in my headphones. Leaning in does me no good whatsoever. Hold on, I can turn my volume up. I could do that, Kevin. I was Man of the Year. Wow, that's super loud. No wonder the commercials blast me. Give me a second. He is super quiet. Sorry, guys. I can't do anything about that. Come on.
The other side happens to have a victory on November 3rd. Forget everything I said. It'll all...
Producer Joanna wants a car made in Thailand. Hopefully not a Mini.
It'll be made in China plus. It'll all be made in other countries like Vietnam and other places. And you can just forget everything I said because they're typical politicians but radical left wing. They will go right back to it, but even more so. To protect our families and workers during the China pandemic, I sealed our border against illegal immigration and suspended the entry of foreign workers who threatened American jobs. And yet, if you're a farmer, a factory owner, and you had people coming in from years, we made it easier for those people to keep coming in. I can't shut them
from
up.
years.
You have to close up your business. Joe Biden, on the other hand, has pledged to allow virtually unlimited immigration during a global pandemic, spreading the virus, overwhelming our healthcare system, and displacing millions of American job seekers. The Biden plan would institute...
That's not a problem because we're going to have a vaccine well before, substantially before, what was the other phrase he used? Whatever it was, at the end of the year. So by the time Biden's in office, we're not going to have to worry about the virus at all because we'll have the vaccine. This is what we've been promised.
Catch and release, I got rid of it, along the entire southwest border. This is where you catch perhaps a murderer, perhaps a rapist. You catch somebody, you take their number, and you release them. You say...
That is not how it goes at all. Anybody with a criminal record does not get released.
Please show up to court in 3 years. Nobody shows up. 1% show up. You know the 1%?
No one wants to come here. Producer Joanna, stop it, because I don't even know what that's in reference to, but I imagine that I do.
The ones that are very smart, they're the ones that show up. They're the only ones that show up. So we built almost 300...
Just about all of them show up, or the cases are taken care of before they go to court. Ideally, you iron out all the paperwork, and it's all figured out before your court date in 3 years, or whenever your court date happens to be. So that's a completely misleading stat that you see all the time. Only 2% show up for the court. No, you don't want to go to court. The courts are bogged down. We don't designate enough resources to any of the courts in our country. They're all way backed up. You never want to end up in court.
Miles of border wall, and we're adding 10 new miles each week. And if we didn't have that, we'd be in trouble because, sadly, I think
the immigration, I thought you were talking about cars from Thailand still.
The president of Mexico is a friend of mine. He's a great guy, Lacey. He's a great guy like you. But I said to him, you know, we have to do this. And you have to, in the meantime, you have to give us a lot of troops along our border because we're paying you a lot of money with your cars. And otherwise, I'm going to have to tariff. And he said, no, we will give you troops. We have 27,000 Mexican soldiers on our southern border. Nobody's coming through unless we want them to. We have to come in legally into our country on the southern border. And,
wait, is YouTube blocking? Is YouTube blocking the? Danielle, are you reposting people what they're saying if they're swearing? Is YouTube not letting those comments through at all? Bro, do you really want to flood the country with non-whites that are dependent on the welfare? The welfare? Dude, what country are you from? Do you know who pays for the majority of all these social programs? Do you know who uses the majority of all these social programs? Whites. What is it? That's got to be one of the stupidest comments I've ever seen. No. Hey, racist, but all right. Secondly, the welfare? I heard he was on the welfare. Uh-oh, here's some non-white people. I bet they're on the welfare. I better go to the mailbox and make sure my Social Security check is still there. Sometimes I try and be nice. I try and be nice to people, but sometimes people are just so stupid. I get it. Slicey Slicer, I really hope you're a parody account. I really, if you're trying to be funny, you got me. You totally did. If you're not trying to be funny, bro, You want to just give this up because you are not good at it at all. Let's get back to Trump.
You have to come in. We have 27,000 troops. You didn't even know that, Tom. 27,000. Furthermore, Joe Biden has pledged to increase refugee resettlement by, not a bad number, 700%. You read that, right? That's in the manifesto. He would overwhelm Minnesota with refugees from terror hotspots, depleting public services, burdening schools, and...
Yeah, the reason the refugees are coming here is to escape the terror hotspots. People always say, well, what has Trump ever done to you? What is he? Name one thing. He's made refugee a bad word. And from living around the planet, having the privilege to do so, and seeing what it's actually like for real refugees. I'm like, oh, panda, oh, only getting, Kevin Daughter's only getting $81 a week. Oh, that's a year's wage. That's 3 times a year's wage in some areas of the world. I'm fine. I can deal. Yes, it's 102 degrees and I'm a little bit hot. But refugees need our help. Give us your poor, your tired, your huddled masses. That's the whole goddamn raison d'etre for this country. If nothing else, if he was a perfect president in every other way, he still would not have my vote.
Draining city budgets. You already know about the hot spots, don't you? Huh? You know about it. You're having plenty of problems in Minnesota. But I'm going to be so politically correct, I'm not going to say a thing. But I know all about your hot
Just
spots.
did.
You got some hot spots. Very unfair to Minnesota.
You know where I have a hot spot? Thailand.
I will tell you that. And I'll tell you, if I don't win Minnesota, I'm never going to do it if I run for a 3rd or 4th term, okay? I'll never be back if I run. I've given up. I almost won last time. One more speech, Mike. Why didn't you have... I almost won. I went to Michigan. I had a choice. I shouldn't tell you this, but we won Michigan. One more speech, I would have won. It was so close. But if I don't win it this time, I'm not coming back. Never. Not for term 3, 4, 5, or 6.
You're going to be
Under my
dead.
administration, we've
You're going to be
dramatically
dead.
reduced refugee resettlement, and we've suspended...
By the way, any word yet on what his brother died from? It's private medical information. We don't have to know, but I'm just curious. Was it COVID? Does anyone... Have they released official word on that yet?
Resettlement during the pandemic, you know that. We've totally suspended it. Nobody comes in. Lucky we have the wall. We're up to 300 miles almost. If we didn't have that wall, we would be inundated with people. And, you know, unfortunately, and we're helping them. We sent them a lot of ventilators and other equipment. But Mexico's being overrun with the pandemic, and we would really have a problem. We've completely...
Dude, we've lost 170,000 Americans. But yeah, Mexico. Mexico's got it bad, don't get me wrong.
Reformed refugee policy. We've instituted rigorous national security checks. We protected religious minorities, and we've shifted refugee admissions away from terror-afflicted nations like Syria and Somalia.
Again, the people fleeing Syria and Somalia are fleeing religious persecution. Such an idiot. USA, deaths per 100 million 1 million population, 524. Mexico, 296. 524 to 296. Mexico, 296. USA, 524. But Mexico's overrun. We got to keep the Mexicans out. Cases, testing, that's all up in the wind. And yes, Mexico probably has had more deaths than that per 1 million. But almost double? Because once you get sick enough to get to the point where you're going to a hospital, and yes, Mexico has hospitals. 524. I may have just lied to you. I did lie to you. 296 is Columbia. So we're just going to pause. We're going to start the broadcast again. Back at the beginning, I want everybody to say exactly what you've said in the chat room. We got to have 4 people in here, and then David's going to say first, and then we'll go from there, guys. Okay? And then every time he says something, we'll all make our Thailand jokes, and something about a gear shift, and then we'll get back to this point, and then I'll say, so USA 524, Mexico 440. But Mexico is overrun with the COVID virus. Sometimes I swallow the wrong way. David's got it.
And remember, you know, they say we don't have, we do have, they understand that. They just don't want to say it. We have a ban, you know that. We have a ban on people coming into our country illegally. We have a ban on countries because we want people to come into our country who love our country, who can love our country, who...
Yeah, if anyone can find the stats on excess deaths, because I don't have that in front of me right now, and I'm kind of watching this guy.
Respect our country, and who are going to come in on merit. Which is the exact opposite of what was happening. Many of them hated our country, and they didn't
what was
come in on
happening?
Merit. Which is the exact opposite of what was happening. Many of them hated our country.
Hold on. What was having? What do now? What's the phrase, Rich? What could happen? What? I can't. It's so stupid. I can't even remember. Rich, that's your official job from now on. As producer, anytime I say what do now, you have to give me the what could happen. What? 4815. What is he? What did he even say? Happening? What would mean? That's right. What would mean? Happening at 4815. I'm going to put all these together today. I got so much to do. Guys, I don't know how people with jobs do it.
And they didn't come in on merit. All they do is complain. Do you know anybody like that? They just complain.
Oh, is the mic that loud that you guys can hear me chewing? I'm sorry.
Does anybody know anybody like that? Do you know anybody, one of your colleagues? You call her a colleague? All she does is complain.
I'm sorry, Vibra. I'll slurp slowly all the way back here. You know what I should do is I should just cut my mic.
Complain. I won't mention the name because you'll
permanently
never guess it. Complains. I don't like that. I don't like it. All she does is complain. Not good enough. Oh, really? Tell us about it. To protect our security, my administration instituted a travel ban.
Who's he talking about complaining? Did I miss that?
On the world's most dangerous regions. Biden has pledged to immediately end this travel ban and allow unlimited migration from terror zones, including Syria, Somalia, Libya, Iran, and Yemen. Trouble.
With the capital T, and that rhymes with T, and that stands for Trump.
Minnesota 4 years ago, I signed an executive order requiring state and local consent before any refugees are admitted. Biden would immediately shred that executive order, overriding local communities like yours. You know that. Did you know I signed that? You have to give approval now. A little different than the old days, isn't it, huh? A little bit different. The old days was a lot different. And I signed that approval. They have to go through a process now, and you have to approve it. Why should we send everybody up to Minnesota or any place else? In recent weeks, Democrat-controlled cities have shown that Democrats plan and what they plan for America. In Minneapolis, 700 buildings were burned, damaged, or destroyed, costing more than $1 billion. I just left incredible people. We were on a runway like this, and I introduced them. Their business is costing more than $1 billion. I just left incredible people. We were on a runway like this, and I introduced them. Their businesses were burned down, gone, and they don't know what they're going to do, but we're going to try helping them to get them rebuilt. But 5 groups of people that were just incredible.
Is this a different airport than he was at earlier? Did he land at an airport, give a half-hour speech, and then fly to this place? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I wasn't paying attention. It looks like it's exactly the same because he's got the... no, you know what? This is different. This is a podium set up with teleprompters. I can't swear that he had teleprompters at the last stop. All right.
Successful, wonderful people. Their story.
What was I just going to do, guys? Let someone tell me what I was just going to do. No, I deleted him and blocked him and reported him for racism on that non-white comments.
Stores and businesses were burned down, destroyed. Dozens of business owners have announced they are considering moving hundreds of jobs out of Democrat-run Minneapolis. You know that. You know that. Criminals are terrorizing civilians in Chicago, Portland, and now New York City. This radical left Mayor de Blasio has let our beautiful diamond. I loved it. I left it 4 years ago. I could see there were the seeds of problems. He was there. But I left it, and it was wonderful. 4 years ago, I left it. And over the last year, and especially over the last 6 months, crime has gone up hundreds of percentage points, hundreds. 273 points, 368 points. Numbers that you wouldn't believe. And we're talking about shootings, murders. You saw what happened this weekend. You saw that, Jason? Terrible. My city, I love that city. But it has great potential. And we're going to do something. We're going to do something strong. They've just let it go to hell. And I don't know, is it because they're bad people or they have no common sense or they just don't know what they're doing? But our beautiful diamond of this country has been let go to hell. Top Democrats have demanded the defunding of police departments. Biden even referred to the police as the enemy. And that's what it is. He's not going to control. Look.
He didn't. He said giving them military equipment it turns them into the enemy. Didn't say that they were the enemy. Makes them look like the enemy.
He's not going to control the situation. He's dealing with how about the...
God, there's still like another 25 minutes of this? He can't... okay.
Congresswoman that I watched over the weekend, right? Saying...
Oh, I already kicked him out, Rich.
I have total control over Biden. He'll do anything I say. I have total control. What she's saying is, I have total control over this jerk. He'll do whatever the hell I want. That's putting it in more common language. But she said it just as mean as that. You know who I'm talking about, right? You saw that? What a horrible statement to make. And frankly, Kamala, nobody treated Joe Biden worse.
He said Kamala correctly a couple of days ago. Why is it now back to Kamala? Is this his thing? Is this his Pocahontas? Is this his attack on her?
Then Kamala. I mean, he was called a racist and just about everything else under the book. Then all of a sudden she said, he's such a fine man. Look, nobody treated him, including Pocahontas, nobody, to just about everything else. Kamala, nobody treated Joe Biden worse than Kamala. I mean, he was called a racist and just about everything else under the book.
Nope.
Then all of a sudden...
Nope. Kamala very specifically said, I don't think you're a racist to Joe Biden at the debates. I remember that very specifically. It's like, I don't think you're a racist, but you really hate brown people. She didn't say that second part, but she did specifically say, I don't think you're a racist.
And she said, he's such a fine man. Look, nobody treated him, including Pocahontas, nobody on the debate stage, nobody treated Joe Biden worse than Kamala Harris. And she's got some big issues. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. I mean, I hear the boos. How the hell did she win the primary? How did she win the Lacey? What the hell happened
in this campaign?
Okay, let's take a look. Just let's get this straight here. She did say, "Hey, the busing thing and all of that," but she does say, "I don't believe you're a racist."
We've also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden. I do not believe you are a racist.
There it is. Did not call him a racist. Specifically went out of her way to say, "I don't believe that you're a racist." So there you have it. Back to Trump.
It's Jason's fault. How the hell did she win? This woman is crazy. She's a horrible woman who hates our country.
We're supposed to have our ballots within 30 days of the election. So I know they're checking out locations for ballot boxes. They plan to be putting in more ballot boxes this time around, so you don't have to depend on the mail. But I don't have a specific date on when those I know there is a specific date on when they're supposed to be mailed out, but I don't know that. But go ahead and look it up right now, Steph, and then you can tell us.
Yeah, mail-in vote. You're right there, right? We'll have to check that. Let's check the mail-in vote. Now, seriously, how does a woman who hates our country, who says nothing but bad things about our country and Israel and other of our allies, how does this woman win? Where are the people that would vote for her?
Democracy.
Omar called the Minneapolis police a cancer and said they were rotten to the root. But Joe Biden did not condemn the comments. He didn't want to talk about it. He didn't disavow her endorsement. He displays it proudly on his website. This is what's going to be running the country. This is the biggest change between what happened between now and Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary was bad news, right? Remember she said, will you accept the results of the election? Will you accept the results of this election? And I said,
did he say election?
Remember she said, will you accept the results of the election?
Yep.
Will you accept the results of this election? And I sort of said, yeah, maybe, But she didn't accept them, right? Will you accept it? I remember that question. It was probably the toughest question I had out of all of them. But she hasn't been exactly a gracious loser.
Yeah, she's not going to accept the results of the election because she won the polar vote.
She's a loser, but not a gracious one. If Joe Biden and the radical Dems...
Yeah! Burn Hillary! Let's talk about Hillary some more.
If the radical Dems take power, they will pass legislation gutting every single police department in America. That's going to happen. The Biden-Bernie manifesto calls for appointing far-left prosecutors, judges, and justices of the United States Supreme Court. Look, we have a...
That's what it says, far left. That's far radical left. Terrorists. That's what it says in the manifesto.
Big thing with the court. The next president has a chance to do 3, 4, could even be 5. You will change this country around. It will be irreversible. It will be irreversible. And they'll coddle criminals and punish law-abiding.
I just want to see RGB swear Joe Biden in on the Bible and just say, I'm done. And that's it. Like, pull the microphone out of the podium and drop it. I'm out, people!
Citizens, these judges will. They'll take away your guns while letting criminal gangs...
Do I need a laugh track and a boo track? I do. I've heard, yeah, I should get that. So that is actually something that I've been looking at. I've got so many things ahead of that to look at. Kamala says bad things about him, not about the country. He's talking about Ilhan Omar right now, producer Joanna.
Like MS-13, roam free. Your Second Amendment, look, it was under siege, but not really, because they had never a chance, right, fellas? They played the game with, they had no chance. When I'm here, they have no...
It was under siege, but not really.
No chance. Your Second Amendment is cherished. You need your Second Amendment. They will either take it away or obliterate it into meaningless nothing. In Joe Biden's America, the protections of American citizenship will be stripped away, and your community will be left at the mercy of the mob. I mean, I'm saying these things, but I mean them. When I look at what happened...
What does that even mean, though? Our community will be left at the mercy of the mob? You mean democracy? Mobocracy? What are you talking about?
Happened in Minneapolis.
I can't fire you. You pay me.
When you look at what's going on in different cities...
I want a gentle soundtrack so that every time I crack a joke, I just get this, aww, like a kitten playing with a tennis ball. Aww, he thinks he's people. Yeah, you know where I'd like to drive? Thailand. Aw, Kevin thinks he's people.
Cities that are just unbelievable cities. Remember this, though. Most of the country is very safe. In fact, crime stats outside of Chicago and New York.
Hold on, I gotta mute my mic so I can chew the ice. Ice, baby.
York, a couple of them, crime stats are record low. Our countries, even during the pandemic, we're doing well, but where they're run by the liberal Democrats, we're not doing well, and we have to get in. You know, they have to ask us. We had to be asked here. They have to ask us, unless we take a very severe action, which ideally you don't want to take. But every time we go in, we solve the problem, and we solve it very quickly. Seattle. Look at what's going on with Seattle. I mean, this
Where you didn't go in.
is a city. This is a real city. And they took
Hold on, Seattle's real? I don't think that's true.
over a large portion of that city. And they knew we were going in the following day. They knew it. So they sent their police in. And it was like nobody ever gave up so easily as those characters. But they're radical left anarchists. Whether you
I wonder if he thinks people were actually living in Chaz or Chop or whatever you want to call it. I mean, there were some tents, but there's always tents in that area. Seattle is just rife with homeless.
You're registered as a Democrat, Independent, or Republican. I'm asking for the vote of every American who believes that police officers are not enemies, but
Okay, so New York is the Diamond City and the Emerald City, Seattle. Okay.
heroes who keep us safe.
You know, those heroes deserve an extra $13 an hour that Democrats wanted to give, but only in the blue states.
I
Not even
also want to
what?
send our special thanks to
Oh.
the members of the Minnesota National Guard who did such an incredible job
Yep.
stopping the rioting, violence, mayhem in Minneapolis. They were great. They were great. I love it. I love that. It's just a beautiful thing to. It's the way it's supposed to work. They cause problems. You have to do it. And the sooner you do it, the easier it is to do. My administration has made clear to every mayor and governor in the country that the federal government is ready to send the National Guard and federal reinforcements. We will wipe out the problem within minutes. You saw it happening right here. You wouldn't have a city if we didn't demand that that take place. You wouldn't have a city.
After it was already done. Yep.
All you have to do is say the word. Every voter should ask themselves a simple question. Do you want the radical left policies of Chicago, Minneapolis, San Francisco imposed on the entire country? Look at Nancy Pelosi. San Francisco's going to hell, and she's in Congress saying what we should be doing. Look at the homeless problem in San Francisco. Look at what's happening in San Francisco. And then she's telling us about the post office. She has no clue. And I must tell you this, does she love our country? Does she love our country? I don't think so, to be honest with you. What she's done is a disgrace to our country, what she's done. And Schumer, crying Chuck. Crying Chuck. He cries whenever it's important to cry. Do you want the failed policies of Mayor Bill de Blasio? Or Mayor Lori Lightfoot, Chicago? Or Mayor Jacob Fry? Brought to every city and town in this nation? If left-wing Democrats can't run a city, why on earth would you let them run your country? We have such incredibly run cities.
But those cities are in the country. Your country.
Such incredibly run cities. The problems we have are the radical left. And now she wants $1 trillion, and she's holding it up using a phony excuse of the post office because she wants $1 trillion.
Rich, what do I say? What do now? What could mean? Yeah, what could mean?
To go, and you guys all know this. She wants $1 trillion to go to these badly run Democrat cities and states.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I can't really do the DNC. Number one, because it's going to be really boring. Number two, it would wear my bell out. Is that true? Judges say that's true. And number three, I got to go. I'm going to get a phone call at some point, and Kevin Lee Daughter's going to say, I'm done. Can you come get me? Because she was supposed to take her driver's test and then COVID or the China virus. And so she doesn't have a driver's license, so I have to go pick her up every time. It's about a half-hour drive each way. Show us the believers in the audience, Kevin? I can't. This is all C-SPAN, and they got one camera, and they're not showing anything.
That's what she wants. And she's using the post office. We want to fix the post office and make it better. It should have been fixed 30 years ago. Over the next 4 years, we're going to implement an aggressive strategy to fight violent crime. It's already been implemented. And we'll expand the surge of federal law enforcement into crime-plagued cities. And we can do...
I was going to say, you've been there for almost 4 years, bro. You could have implemented a strategy to stop crime anytime. Over the next 4 years, we've already done it. So is this an old speech? Are we just...
do that at will. We just have to hear from your governor. Call up. Just let us know. We'll be there.
I don't know Governor Call.
Willing and able. We will hire more tough, violent crime prosecutors. We will hire more police. We will dismantle violent left-wing extremist groups like Antifa. They don't even want to say the name Antifa. They don't even want to say the name. And we will pass new laws to prosecute drive-by shootings and an act of domestic terrorism. They will suffer gravely. We will fight for a nation in which every American child is safe on our streets, in which every American family is secure in their homes, and in which all of the American people are confident in our destiny. But to achieve this vision, we must finish the job and drain the Washington swamp once and for all. And get Jason in there, please. Jason Lewis, get him in. Jason, you got to win. Get Jason Lewis. Jason Lewis. Got to win, Jason.
Guys, you're not Antifa. Antifa is just a bunch of assholes. They're not. Don't own that. Yes, you could be anti-fascist. Go ahead and say, I'm anti-fascist. I don't like fascists. That's good. But Antifa itself, or what the idea of Antifa is, because they're really not that big of an organization, or an organization. Don't play games with that, because it just plays right into their hand.
You're certainly against a weak opponent. You got to win. For years, left-wing politicians like Joe Biden...
Hey, I take offense to that, Chris Wilson. Yes, I have issues. Yes, I have problems. But if I can fool just some of the people, some of the time...
talked about supporting American workers. Then they got elected and gave away your jobs, shipped away your factories, and they sold off your dreams, your beautiful, beautiful American dreams. They sold them off to the highest bidder. But under this administration, those days are over. Now you have a president who is fighting for you.
We have another president?
The next 4 years, we will fully restore America's manufacturing independence. We will again rebuild the greatest economy in history. It's happening. Over the next 4 years, we will fully restore America's manufacturing independence. We will again rebuild the greatest economy in history. It's happening very fast. You're going to see it very soon. And lift it to even more incredible heights than what we had last year. You had the greatest year in the history of your state last year. We will revitalize police departments and reclaim our cities for law-abiding Americans. We will protect religious liberty, defend the lives of our beautiful unborn children, appoint conservative judges, uphold free speech on college campuses, and safeguard the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms. We will ensure American dominance in space.
I thought shipped away your factory sounded weird too, but just like there's just so much. I think the New York Times had an article about that. Just with so many outrages, by the time you're angry enough about the first outrage, there's already another one. So moving on. Today in Helicopter Moments, nobody even asked about, remember how Russia was paying the Taliban to kill American soldiers? Yeah, that was like 8 minutes ago. We've moved on. Sorry. What about you're saying Kamala's name incorrectly? Yeah, how dare he?
In military and pave the way to
It's nonstop.
becoming the first nation to plant its flag on Mars. We're working on that. We're doing very well.
Thank
By the way,
God.
when I took over NASA, it was dead. It was gone, right? It was gone. There was nothing. There was grass growing on the runways, grass through the crevices on the runway. It was terrible. And now it's the most vital space program anywhere in the world. Not only the jobs, but the importance of it and the psychology of it. And by the way, for military defense. And we created Space Force. Think of that. We created another one of many, many things. First time in 78 years. Last one was the Air Force, right? Space Force. That's a big deal by itself. If a president did that, they would have achieved something. We did that, and we did hundreds of other things. We will teach our children to love our...
And yet, since, well, let's see, we landed on the moon right around my birthday. So in the last almost 50 years, not a single president has said, hey, we should take the space program and put it into a whole other department for some reason. Because nobody else has loved big government as much as Trump. Are you listening to this, Republicans?
Our country to...
What I love is that Kasich is going to be speaking. Republican GOP Governor John Kasich is going to be speaking at the DNC tonight. That is beautiful. It's not going to change anybody's mind, but that's beautiful.
Honor our history and to respect our great American flag. We will never waver in defense of our families, our values, our faith, our jobs, our borders, our rights, or our freedoms. Together, we will unite citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed as one people, one family.
What's been stopping you until now? What, the whole uniting the creeds? What's been holding you back so far, buddy?
And one glorious
anytime now.
Nation under God. I want to thank you. You are incredible people. Minnesota, thank you
I want to thank you. You are incredible people, Kevin Lee family.
very much. I'll be back.
I will also maybe be back sometime.
November 3rd, we have to win, God.
October 3rd, we're having a big convention. And by that, I mean live stream, where we're going to raise money for charity. And that charity is sending kids to school in Kenya, and that's important.
God bless you. God bless.
1 month before the election. That's good. It's also Mean Girls Day. I knew the one, but I just thought of the other one right now. So 1 month before the election, Charity Day.
The great state of Minnesota, and God bless America. Thank you all very much.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. To stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can just. You ever listen to the lyrics of that song? Like really listen to it? It's really apparent what that song is about. Hey, thanks everybody for joining me here so far today. That was a 2 hour and 9 minute broadcast, so I appreciate you sticking around. That was a 1 hour and 4 minute, I want to say speech, because there was a lot of, we had, this is, wow, hold on. This is all today. We had 78 Ds. Hold on. I'm going to put this. Oh, I got to do this. I got to keep my glasses off and I got to do the call to action. Tell a friend about the broadcast. Tell them about me. And when they watch, they should just say, "Aw, Kevin thinks he's people." And spread the good word. It's been a little while. Phyllis, oh, yeah. So thank you. Also, a couple of you just recently adjusted your donations on kevinleefather.com and gave me a little bit more of that pie. And I appreciate that, because I'm almost out of my birthday cheesecake. So everybody who does participate and watches, fantastic. Everybody who's in the chat room, amazing. Everyone who finds it in their heart to give me a few shekels when they go to kevinleefather.com or paypal.me/kevinleedad or Venmo at Kevin anyone who does that, I truly appreciate it. I really do. It's it blows me away. And beyond that, everybody who on my birthday last Thursday donated enough to send a girl through high school in Kenya. Again, I am completely overwhelmed with your generosity. Many of you are the same people who are patrons of mine, and it's not only great that you support me that way, but that you are willing to support others who need it, honestly, much, much more than myself. When I look back on all the crap I learned in high school, it is a wonder. Did I send it yet? No. All that money's in my Venmo right now. No, I did have a meeting with them this morning, and I do have to sit down and add up the Venmo and the PayPal, and then make one donation. And we're trying to figure it out. Some of you donated, and a fee was charged. So we're trying to sort out if that fee is going to be charged, if I just make that a direct donation, or whether I should write a check. And I haven't written a check in, I don't know, like 20 years, because checks. Anyway, yes, it will get done, but I appreciate the follow-up on that, Dr. Howard. No, and producer Joanna has also been bugging me about it. You're going to switch from Patreon? Okay, switch from whatever you want to do, Rich. I mean, hell, you're local. Just drop it by in the form of cheesecakes. I'm almost out. What? Oh, yeah, so let's go back to what we had. 78 Ds. We got held him off, which should have been hold him off. We had, I don't even know what he was trying to say here. Serviller Nation? Hold on, what was that? Now I got to go back and check. Hold on, guys. Stay with me. At 3:33 or thereabouts, he said...
We do that now, so we don't do that. Going to be 78 days. We're going to win this state. We're going to take back the White House. And we're going to have an election that's all about the survival of our nation. This is...
Survival or nation. We had survival or nation. We had left-wing fascism. We had Biden, which then he claimed ownership of. We had... I don't believe... I can't even remember what that... We had launchering. We had South China. We had happening. And we had the election. Hillary lost the election. All of that was just today. He is declining. He is descending down a ramp of dementia. And I just hope this is all done before he collapses completely. Because without borders, you don't have a country. Without skiers, you don't have a country. Without skaters. Without toboggans. Thank you, Green Room. That's very nice. Leah, one of my kids has done GoFundMe several times. What do you need to know? Yeah, I know. We got to do. I got another audition tomorrow. I got to memorize that. Joanna said something, and Rich said, "You go, Joanna." I've lost so much muscle, man. Don't look. I'm glad my arm is cut off here. Take back our White House, right? Putin is the president. Yeah, true. Everyone would see my cute little bubbler bong if we zoomed. Yeah, so I know you guys won't do the Zoom, and producer Joanna has agreed or volunteered for us to use her Zooms, so we might do that. I have to use the Zoomer for an audition tomorrow, and I'm against the basic idea of having Zoom on my computer, but I have to do so for auditions. So now I gotta let you guys go because I gotta set up for an audition tomorrow. I don't know why I'm talking like that. South China Seas. South China Seas is a good movie. You know what else is pretty good? Is South Pacific. I can't remember if it's that movie specifically, but there is another movie that I think is very good. Or Google Meet Kevin. I don't even know what do now, guys. What I do now is get set up for an audition. There might be a nap involved as well. Oh, yeah. So this morning, Kevin Lee Daughter had to be at work at the studio at, for those of you who knew, Kevin Lee Daughter was shooting, she does background work in television shows. She was shooting a television show before the pandemic. That TV show is back now. And the way they're doing it is they're testing them every single morning. And they have them come in on other days as well when they're not working, and they do the PCR test, which is so they're testing them every single morning with the 20-minute, it's an antigen test, not as accurate as a PCR test. So once a week so far, 2 weeks in a row, they've had them come in on their day off to do also an antigen test. I don't know if it's specifically on their day off, but she wasn't working the day that she had it done. So they're using sort of double protection. Meanwhile, it's get on back to school, kids. So there's another Trump conference from earlier today that wasn't as long. There's a helicopter moment. There's a Fox News interview as well that we didn't get to. So we got plenty to do. And then there's the DNC tonight, and I don't want to broadcast during the DNC, but I got to get stuff done now. Anyway, the point of that story, Mr. Meander, I'm like Trump. I'm worse than Trump with the meandering. And I don't even do it there. That's the meandering. I got to do it into the camera. I'll get it right one day. So her call time this morning was 6 a.m., which means leaving at 5:15 just to be on the safe side, just in case there's wacko construction traffic or something early in the morning. And then so I woke up at 5, and I had a message from her saying, hey, my new call time is 9:30. They changed it overnight. So she calls in the morning and checks, and her new call time was 9:30. And I'm like, yay, I can go back to bed. But I didn't, because I was awake. Because when you wake up at 5 a.m. and you're like, okay, gotta do this, gotta be dad, I gotta take to drive, gotta be awake, gotta go. Then you're awake. So I've been awake since then. You know what? But people are dying, so I'm okay. Okay, I think you guys have had enough time to say goodnight, John Boy. I'll put you up in the closing credits as well so you can continue talking at one another. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. I don't know if it's going to be later tonight. I might jump in during the DNC. I might decide we're going to do the Trump thing. Maybe we'll do that with... no, tomorrow I've got the audition early, so I don't think we're going to have a cafefe with Kevin Lee, or whatever we call that. Spilling cafefe. We'll figure it out. Here's some closing credits. Again, Phyllis... and the other couple of folks who upgraded their memberships, I have not made that change yet. That's project number 57 at this point. Got to set up for the audition. Got to go. Guys, be good to each other. Wear your face bras like the good doctor says. No, that is not what that is not what I'm going for there. Do not know what that is. Let me start this again. There we go. Okay, those were the silent credits, apparently. I don't think you guys could hear anything there. And now you can't see anything, so you might as well just stop watching. Are you still here? It's over. Put your phone down, go do something else. Seriously, I'm not going to say anything else. I mean it. What do now?